Hello everybody, welcome to Totally Tabled. My name is Shaggy, and today I'm doing a full solo playthrough of Viticulture with the Bordeaux Expansion. This new expansion is basically just a new board for Viticulture, but it also comes with an entirely new deck for the Automa, and that's what I'm going to be showing off today. I went ahead and I got everything set up. Here's the new board, and if you're familiar with the Tuscany expansion, that also came with a new board that had 4 seasons, and so does this one. You don't need the Tuscany expansion to play with this board, but you can use the modules from the Tuscany expansion here. I should mention that on the backside of this map is the regular base game map, so you can actually recycle your base game map and just use this. As far as setup goes, quite a bit has changed. First of all, you're going to set up with just your middle field available. The other 2 have been sold. But you get to start with a level 2 grape of either color, and a level 1 wine of either color. You also start with 3 money, as well as 1 residual. You then get to take the benefits of your mama and papa. As you can see here, I got 2 vine cards and then 1 order card. And I decided to take all the money, so that's 6 more money, so I'm going to be beginning with 9. You shuffle up the new Automa deck, and you give the Automa player all their workers, the 4 new cubes that come with this expansion, and then you set their marker at 30. And there we go, that's it. We are ready to begin. The game is played over 6 rounds, and so we've set these little glass markers from the 2 to the 7 on the wake up track. We can pick any row that has a glass marker. That means we can never go into the first row. I could really use some visitor cards, so I'll choose row 5 as my wake up. And you get to keep the glass marker. That is a bonus action token, and I'll explain what that does here just in a little bit. So as you can see there, we begin in spring, and that's this area right here. And every time you begin a new season, you simply draw the top card of the Automa deck, and you check for anything that has to do with spring, which is in green. And you can see here, we actually have 2 things. So these are the 2 worker placement locations that they're going to go to. So they're going to give a tour, and they're going to make a trade. When you're playing a 1 or 2 player game, only the first location is available. The other 2 worker placement locations at each spot are not available. And if you look here, there's an extra action that they're going to take. They're going to make 3 trades. So to resolve that, we flip another card over, and now we look at the bottom of the card. We're going to place glass beads in the trade location according to the chart. Looks like one's going to go here. 1 there. Oh, nope. 1 there and 1 there. This is a really cool part of this new map. This action right here, make 1 trade, allows you to come here and, as you can see, pay something of your choice, either a card, 3 money, a point, or a level 1 grape, in order to gain something. So either a card of your choice, 3 money, a point, a level 1 grape, a level 1 wine, or an income, or a residual. But now the Automa has blocked off some trades, right? So now I won't be able to pay a victory point in order to get 3 money, for example. So that's it. The Automa is done. There's 4 different actions that we can take in the spring. We can draw a vine card. And you can see on that first spot, we'd actually get to draw an extra vine card if we go there. So that would be draw 2 vine cards. We can give a tour in order to gain 2 money. And then obviously if you go on that first spot, you can gain an extra money. We can hire an expert, which I'll explain in a second. And then we can make a trade. And you can see here, you actually get to make 2 trades if you go into that first spot. Now the Automa has blocked those 2, so we can't go there with one of our regular workers, but we always have our Grande worker, so we can go to these locations with our Grande. But in this case, we wouldn't get that extra, because we're not going in that first slot. We'd only get to make 1 trade. We'd also just pass if we don't want to go to any of these locations, because these are the only workers we're going to have for the entire year. But I do want to go to hire an expert. You can see on that first spot there, we're going to get 1 money. And then it's going to cost us 2 money in order to hire an expert. So what is an expert? Well, that's what all of these things are below all the actions that you've probably noticed. This is the other amazing thing about this map. I can now place one of my cubes on any of these spaces, and whichever one I choose, I will then get the benefit when I take that action. So for instance, if I were to go here, from now on, when I make one trade, or make two if I go there, before I take this action, I can remove one of the tokens that are already placed there so that I could go there. I could place it here. And then anytime I take this buy or harvest one field action, I'll gain an income. So there's 16 of these in total, and we have 4 cubes, so we can get at most 4 different experts. I won't go over all of these right now, but I am going to come here. I want that expert. This is the action where we train to get more workers. And now when I go there, because I have this expert, I'll be able to place that new worker immediately in the spring or summer. Usually you wouldn't get to use that worker until the next year, but because of this expert, I can put them to work immediately when I get them. That seems pretty powerful. Now, if I wanted to, I could go again. Maybe I want to draw some cards. I'm happy with the cards I have, so I'm going to pass, right? I'm done with spring. We are now going to move into summer. So what I do is I take my rooster and I move them forward, and I'm going to get the benefit. In my case, I'm going to get to draw a summer visitor card. Okay, I got the horticulturalist. I can plant any one vine card, even if you don't have the required structures. Ooh. Or uproot and discard 2 vine cards in order to gain 3 points. Ooh, that card would be great to plant that Chardonnay over there. All right, so now we've moved to the summer. So again, the first thing we do is we draw an Atoma card and see if they're going to place anybody. Oh, wow. Once again, they're going to play into the play a summer visitor card and in the plant. Ugh, that is unfortunate. In the fall, there is an action here, which is take any action. And so you can come here to take an action that's been covered up if we really wanted to plant something. I have a different idea. Let's go ahead and build a structure. So we're going to get a coin, and then we can build any of the structures that are on our board here. Now, for our 2 wines, our Pinot and our Syrah, they both need this trellis. That's what that symbol is on top there in the upper left. So let's go ahead and, build that. It only costs 2. And that's it. That's all I want to do in the summer. So we're going to move to the fall. It looks like we're going to get a winter visitor. Got the Reaper. Harvest up to 3 fields. If you harvest 3 fields, gain 2 points. All right, that might be tough to do for a while here because we got to buy back our 2 fields that have been sold. So here we go, into the fall. All right, and if you look at the top there, there's nothing in the brown, so they're not going to place anything in the fall. And actually, we're not going to take any actions in the fall either, so we're going to move straight on to the winter. Looks like we're getting a coin. And they're not placing anything in the winter either. And we're going to take our Grande, and we're going to go to that train action. So we get a coin, but training costs 4. So these are each 2. We get one of our workers, and because we have that expert, like I said, we can now immediately place them in an action in the spring or the summer. Now, because this is just a regular worker, we only have 2 options. We either can come here, and that would let us either harvest 1 field, which we haven't planted anything, or we could buy... we have $5. We could go there and buy this field. It costs 5. This one costs 7. But no, we're going to go to the draw vine cards. And because of that bonus, we get to do it twice. So as you can see, one of the differences with this map is some of the cards are face up. We have a little display of vine cards and of order cards. And so anytime you want to draw a card, you can either draw from the top of the deck or you can draw from what's there in the display. I'm going to go ahead and take this Chardonnay. We can either build an irrigation to be able to plant it because it needs both a trellis and an irrigation, or we could use our horticulturalist, there we go, in order to plant it without needing the structures. Whenever you draw a card, you replace it immediately. Oh wow, another Chardonnay. I don't think we want multiple. I think I'll draw from the top. All right, Sauvignon Blanc. Not sure we're going to want that either. And there we go. That is it. We're out of workers. It's the end of the year, so we're going to go through cleanup. And that's outlined just right here. So starting from the right, we're going to retrieve our workers. We also need to retrieve the bot's workers. We then age our grapes and wine. So these are going to go up. We would discard down to 7 cards, but we have exactly 7. We collect our residual payments, and we do start with 1. Get a little extra money there. And now we're going to choose a new wake-up position. And again, we can only go where there's one of those markers. Let's go 6. Once again, we get to keep that token, so now we have 2 of these. And I can explain what these do now. Anytime you go somewhere and take an action, like let's say I go, here, then I can spend one of these in order to get the bonus of another space, of a different space. So if I were to spend it now, I could get a victory point. Or if I went here, I could spend this in order to draw a summer visitor card. So every round we're going to get one of those, and we can hold on to them. We can spend 1 per action. And obviously, in order to win the game, after 6 rounds, we need to have passed 30 victory points. We have a long way to go and not much time to do it. Let's get started with round 2. Start of spring. Just going right there. My goal for this year is to get my vines planted and then harvested. Right? We'll get them down here in the crush pad. We'll get them aging. That's what we want. Now, ideally, I could plant these 2. I could buy that, and then I could plant that there. And then I could harvest both fields. We only have 4 workers, but at the end here in winter, we are going to get to retrieve 1 from fall. So I could try to plant. Play this card. But first I'd have to go here to buy this. So that's actually 3 actions just to get these 3 planted. Then the 4th one could be to harvest. And this one lets you harvest up to 2. So I'd be able to harvest there. But ideally I'd play here to harvest and then I'd get that back and then I could train. But I would need a lot of money to do that. And I'd also need a lot of cooperation from the Automa to not block those spaces. Either way, I think I'm not interested in doing any of these. Get a winter visitor. A noble. Pay 1 to gain a residual or lose 2 residuals in order to gain 2 points. That would be good at the end of the game. Okay, don't block us. Come on. No blocky. Oh, going right to the plant. But we always have our Grande. This is what the Grande is for, but that's only going to let us plant 1. That's the problem with the Grande. Although we could use our bonus token. Okay, let's try to make this happen. Go there. We're getting a coin. We can either buy a field or we can harvest a field. So we're going to buy a field and we'll buy the cheap one. 5 money. Let's play the horticulturalist. I really have a hard time saying that word. Again, we'll get a money. We can play 1 card. We'll plant a vine, even though we don't have the appropriate buildings for it. Now, I could go like this and then put one of those here and then one of those there. Yeah, okay, we'll do that. Now this field here, it's the middle field, so it can hold a value of 6 vines, and this one can only hold 5. So if I plant this 2 here, that'll be 6. That'll be at capacity, and then I could plant this here, and would still have room for this one if we wanted to, or another 3. That makes sense to me. Yeah, I think we're going to do this. We're going to take the risk. We'll play our grande here, so we can plant, and we will use one of our bonus tokens in order to do that. So you can do this. The only time you can't do that is if you're covering the bonus. But if the Atoma is covering the bonus, you can spend that to get it. So right now, we're going to be able to plant 2. And so we'll plant this one here. We have that structure, and we'll plant this one here. We have the structure. So we're good. Nice. Now if we can harvest these 2, we're going to get a load of grapes. And that's what we need. Because I think we might be going into the blush and maybe even the sparkling wine business. I usually don't do that, but I'm feeling it this time. That might be the way to go. Okay, that was a busy summer. Heading into the fall, and now we can get a card of our choice. That's what that gray card means. Thinking of getting an order. I really like this one. A 5 and a 6 blush. 6 points and 2 income, so that would be really good. Okay, let's see what happens. Ooh, they took the harvest up to 2. Ooh, that's a shame. We can always go here to take that harvest up to 2, but it's going to cost us a coin. And that means we won't have enough to train. Because we're going to get this person back. So we put them here, we're going to get them back. We'll be able to play them here, but we won't have enough money to train. We'll be 1 short. Well, I think we really do need to harvest, so let's do it. We'll spend the buck. We'll take the harvest up to 2. For this field, we're getting a 1 in red and a 1 in white. And then for this field, we're getting a 2 in red and a 4 in white. Go to winter. We get this person back. They're covering train anyway, as well as fill. So we weren't going to be able to train either way. Now keep in mind, for the Automa, their grande works just like one of their regular workers. It's the same. I think we'll just play one of our winter visitor cards. That seems like the best thing to do. And yeah, let's just, we'll spend 1 in order to get 1 income. Why not? We'll get that 1 right back. And that's it. That's it for me. Get back all of our workers. Gonna age everything. So, like that. We're good with cards. We're now getting 2 for our residuals. And now, what do I need? I need some visitor cards. I've got a lot of grapes here that could age. I'm gonna need to get a medium cellar. Let's go 3. Okay, round 3, spring. They're blocking the give a tour. That was going to be where I went to get some money, but we can always go to trade. But they are going to hire an expert. And in fact, you can see there, they're going to hire 2 experts. That's what those 2 cubes are. So the way we resolve this action is we draw another card. Now we look down here and we look at their cubes. The 4 columns show the 4 different seasons. So they're going to put one right there. And there. And of course, they're not getting any of the benefits or anything like that. They're just blocking spaces from us. Okay, like I said, we need money. Because I definitely want to train this round. I want to build my medium cellar, and I want to make up to 2 wines. So let's go here, and we'll make a trade. And because of that +1, we get to make 2 trades. First trade, let's discard a card. We don't need this vine. And get 3 money. And that's probably all the money that we really need. So I might give up another card. Yeah, I don't think I need this one. Let's give up this card. That'll give us a 1. White or red? White or red? We'll go white. Yeah, just like that. Okay, I think that's it. I love this trading. This is so cool. We're going to move forward. I'll draw from the top. Okay, that's more the ticket. Nice, and we finally got lucky. Not blocking the spaces we want. First things first, we're going to build a structure. Medium cellar, $4. Now, when we make these into wines, we'll be able to hold them. In fact, we probably are going to need a large cellar next round, probably. Gosh, I almost want to harvest just this, because then I could get an extra red and white, and then when we move into the fall, they're all going to age because of a power there. Let's go ahead and do it, because that might get blocked. Get a coin. I'll harvest this field. So the 4 is blocked, so we'll have to put it on the 3. And then the 2 is blocked, so we'll have to put it on the 1. Now we're done. We're moving into the fall. And that power is all of your grapes go up 1. So everything moves up and be like that. We got to start making some wines because we are filled up. Nothing here. So, yep, we want to train, so we're going to pass. That power is just one of our wines can move up. And boom, we got the medium cellar just in time. Get a coin, then spend 4 to train. And now we can place them here or here. It's basically plant or draw. So let's plant. Only got 1. Put it right there. Not too shabby. I mean, we haven't scored any points, and we're halfway through the game, but, you know, I'm sure that's fine. I'm good at making wines, not so good at scoring points. Our grapes are going to age again. So, easy way of doing that is just to go whoop. So, wow, yeah, we need that large cellar, and we can start making some good stuff here. Oh, and this goes up to 5. We got to get some new orders. We got to figure out what we're going to do with all these, because we can make some high-quality sparkling wines here. And there's a bunch of orders that need sparkling wines that are very valuable. So maybe that should be what we do. Definitely need a large cellar, which means we need more money. Although we are getting 2. So we have 4. We're pretty close. I have some very tentative plans. I just have so much I want to do. We'll come down here so we can get that extra worker. That's a temporary worker that we'll just have for this year. Oh, I wanted to hire an expert. Oh, that sucks. Now that one we already have, so they won't place it there. At least they didn't take the expert that I wanted. I wanted to go either here or here. Now that doesn't make sense. Okay, I could do a trade. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come here to get some money. So that's 1 plus 2 for giving a tour. That's 3. And then I'm also going to spend one of these so I can draw a summer visitor. Got the advanced uncertified broker. Lose 3 points to gain 9 money, or pay 6 to gain 2 points. I don't know. That's not really what I was hoping for. We're going to go here into summer. And this is important. Please, 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 please do not block me. Ah, perfect. Okay, they're not even placing anything. That means I can build a structure. I think I definitely want to do that. Let's build our large cellar. Very expensive for 6. But now we can make sparkling if we want. I'm also tempted to harvest 1. Because the big thing we want to do is we want to make 2 wines. And hopefully we'll get to make a 3rd. But if the bot were to block both of those 2 actions, I'd be really sad. I could just come here, get 1 of these, and then I wouldn't have to worry about going there. Yeah, I think that's the less risky thing to do. Get a coin. I'll harvest here. So that's just going to be a 2 and a 2. Done. Coming here, I can either get a card of my choice or a point. I want to get a card. Yeah, we're going to take that order. And now for fall. Ooh, he took it. That is annoying. We can still make 2 wines. We just won't be able to make that 3rd unless we play one of these, which we could. Yeah, maybe we should. First, though, I want to draw more orders. Get to draw 2. Let's take that one. Ooh, and I like that one, too. Yeah, let's take that one as well. Now, I could just go here, take any action, and do that. And then I'd save my Grande in case... Well, see, I don't know if I want to train or if I want to fill an order. I'm going to risk it. I want to use my Grande so I can play this in order to take that bonus. So now I get to make 3 wines. Now I just need to figure out which 3 I want to make. I could make 2 blushes and a sparkling. And then if I can come in here, I could fulfill both of those. Okay, well, we got plenty of grapes here. So 5 and a 6 blush. That just requires a white and a red. And then you just add them together and that's your value. So I could do a 4 and a 2. 4 red, 2 white. That would make a 6 blush. And then I could take a 2 red and 3 white, and that would make a 5 blush. So there we go. We have what we need for this. And then to make a 9, what is this? I have 4, 5. That's a 9 right there, plus 3. That's very overkill. Because a sparkling takes 2 reds and a white. I could do a 7 blush with the 4 and the 3. Yeah, that seems more reasonable. So that's a 7 blush. Going in my large cellar. Then I can use that as the 3. So we got both of those. There we go. Those were the 3 wines. So we'll move on. Now, typically, this would give you a little token, which would remind you that you need to go first next time. You have to go in the first row. But in the solo game, that isn't a thing. You can't go to the first row. So we just ignore that spot. You just get nothing. And now for winter. If they block the training space, I'll go here. If they block this space, I'll go train. Hopefully they won't block both. That would be a travesty. Okay, they block the fill. That is really, really something, isn't it? Well, we'll train. We'll get 1 and then spend 4. So that's all of our money. But we get to take another action. We don't need to plant. I think we just want to trade. So we can make 2 trades. Tempted to go card for a card and try to get a better summer visitor. Yeah, let's start there. Okay, Overseer. Build 1 structure at its regular cost and plant 1 vine. If it is a 4 value vine, gain 1 point. That's not what we wanted either. Maybe I should have gone for a winter visitor. Honestly, I might just discard that card for a point. Finally get on the board. I got enough to do. You know what? Yeah, let's go there. I'll give up this card for a point. On the board. Okay. Wouldn't say things are going super great here. We're playing the long game for sure. Everything's gonna age. And now I really need to hit this spot 2 times each round. Ugh. I do get 2 money, though. It would have been so nice to be able to go here, fill these, and then get those residuals. I would have so much more money. I'll go there. All right. Gonna be making 3 more trades. Right here. And that one's already been. Yeah, not much room left in here. I think I will hire an expert, though. So, get 1, spend 2. Yeah. Yeah, I think I want to go there. Okay, I have everything for these 2. And then I just need 1 more red of really anything. Even a 1 red would get me that one. But I would need 2 more reds for this. Yeah, the goal here is definitely to fulfill all 4 of these. So we'll do 2 this round, 2 the next round. That's the idea. So I don't have to get these done this turn. Yeah, I think we're okay. Definitely don't want that one. I'll draw from the top. Ooh, a blush. Ooh, that might be better than this one, really. 1 less point, but much easier to do. So that's a question mark. All right, nothing. Yeah, I don't think we have anything we can do here. Summer is a bust. I'm going to be hard-pressed to use all these workers, actually. I mean, I could come... Yeah, I should just come here just in case. I'll get a coin. And I'll harvest here. That's a 4. And a 2. I'll tilt this just so I don't forget. I've harvested this already. You can only harvest once per year. I think that's it. I think that's it. We'll move on. Summer visitor. Sharecropper, plant one vine even without the required structures, or uproot and discard one vine to gain 2 points. Now, uprooting and discarding one vine to get 2 points is actually something that we could definitely want to do. So we should grab a vine. Okay, come on. Don't screw me. Oh, come on. Oh, actually, no, that's okay. That's okay, because we did this. So we don't have to worry about that spot. We're fine. I was worried there for a second, but this is okay. We're going to definitely come here, and we're going to make 3 wines. Now, we're probably not going to make 3 wines. So for this one, yeah, we need another blush, and then we also need a 3. So we could just put this here. And then we could make a 5 blush. With just like that. And then I can't make the sparkling, but instead I'm just going to take this 7 and make a white. There we go. Those are my 3 wines. I might as well use one to draw because I'm not going to need it. See if we get anything better. Okay, that's no better than this. That's fine. We can just use those to, we can just toss them. No big deal. We move over there, and now all of our wines go up. Wow. Got quite the collection here. Okay, I just don't want them to come here. It won't be the end of the world, but it would be annoying. All right, nothing. That is great. So we will come here, and we will spend one of these to get that benefit so we can actually fulfill 2 of these orders. We're also getting a victory point. So I don't think it matters too much. Let's just go ahead and go with this one. We'll take the 6 and the 7. Can overpay. That's no big deal. That's going to get us 6 points. And 2 residuals. And because we crossed over that victory point marker, we'll get an extra victory point. And then for our second one, might as well do this one. So we'll take that. That's a 4 for the 3, and the 8 for the 7. It's giving us 5 victory points. 2 more residuals. It's another point. And there we go. On the 5th of 6 rounds, we are finally halfway to where we need to be. And now I'm going to go here. We get to sell 1 wine, but our bonus is a card. Grab a vine. I just want to sell this. It's an 8 white. So for white, we'll get 1 point, but because it was in the large cellar and we have an expert here, we're going to get 2 extra points. So that's 3 points. All right, there we go. I think that's it. The only thing is I could spend this to get that victory point. We'll be getting the last one, which we'll use here. Yeah, I think I am going to spend this for that victory point. Okay, not bad. Everything ages. I've made some damn good wine in this game so far. That's usually not what I do. I'm usually making crappy wine. I have 1 extra card that I don't need. No reason to have that. And I'm getting $6. Okay, let's do it. Last round. Only one place I can go. We gotta shuffle the deck. All right. Okay, it's refreshing. And then it's also gonna place an expert. It only has one left. Right here. I don't need more money. I might just want to make a trade. So, yeah, we can make 2 trades. I'm definitely going to buy a point. And then I could buy a card. I could also buy a wine. Ooh, yeah. Let's buy a wine. Get a 1 red. Now we don't even need to harvest. We can just make 2 wines. And we really just need to make 1 wine. So even if this gets covered, we can come here. And then we save our grande for this. I mean, this is lining up perfectly. Getting a coin. Wonderful. Didn't block it. We will play sharecropper. So uproot. We can just uproot this. And then discard 1 to gain 2. It's great. So now if we do both of these orders, we're golden. And I could build a yoke just in case, but I don't need to harvest. Yeah, you know what? I think I will build a yoke. So that'll give me 1, and the yoke costs 2. That's just going to give me a space here where I could harvest 1 field if I want to. Okay, moving on. 1 grape can get bigger. Fine. Ah, they did it. But it doesn't matter. Because I can come down here, spend 1 to make up to 2. So I'm going to make just 1 wine. We'll combine all of these together to make a 9 sparkling. And really, yeah, that's it. We'll move on. I'd refresh both of those, but that's not going to matter. And they're not even placing anything here, so get a point. Spin this so we can fulfill 2. We got these 2 here, the 9 sparkling, and the blush and red. So that's 10 points. 4 residuals. Just an extra point. And there we go. We don't really need to do anything else because we've done it. We've passed 30 points, and so we win. Now, at the end of the game, you do get to convert your grapes and wine into lira, into money. The grapes you convert based on its sale price, as shown on the crush pad, and then your wines just for their value. And then for every 10 lira you have, you get a point. So if I was trying to maximize my points, I would have gone to the harvest and harvested, and I would have had a bunch of grapes in here. Actually, that might not even have been enough money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, okay, I wouldn't even have enough money for an extra. But there you have it. That was a complete solo game of Viticulture with the new Bordeaux map. Keep in mind I was playing on normal difficulty, and there are ways of making the game both easier and harder. That's going to do it for me. I'd like to thank all the financial supporters of Totally Tabled, including the totally radical Mitch Fisher, Hextra, John Kohler, Scott Myers, and Jay Satterwhite, as well as the totally bodacious Jerry Bob. If you're interested in becoming a member, you can join on YouTube or my Patreon at www.patreon.com/totallytabled. You'll gain access to my new exclusive podcast, Table Talk, as well as unboxing videos and whatever extra stuff I come up with. As always, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.